The objective of this video tutorial is that participants will analyze student performance on the California English Language Development Test, and in this video you'll find assistance on using the report builder and CELDT movement reports, including the EL special reports. And before we get started, there is one setting you want to change on your YouTube screen. Go ahead and click on the little gear button right here and change the quality to 720 HD, and that'll just make the tutorial much clearer. Okay, so once you're logged into EADMS, the first thing you're going to do is hover over the Reports tab, hover over Group Reports, and then click on Report Builder. And when you get to this screen, this is where you choose the student grouping that you want to look at the data for. So if, for an example, if you only wanted to look at your first period class, you could do that. If you only wanted to look at kids in grade 10, you could do that filter. So a lot of different options as far as filtering the group of kids that you want to look at. You could go back to students you had last year by clicking on Spring 2012, or even go back a few years. So once you have the group of kids that you want to look at, you're going to click on Next. And on this screen, it's asking for the tests that we want to look at. And there are literally thousands of assessments within EADMS that our students have taken. So this filter tool is really helpful. So in this case, we're looking at the CELDT data. So I'm just going to type in the test search box here the CELDT acronym, and then I click on Go. You'll notice right here, if you were looking at assessments that were given in a previous year, like the STAR, that we haven't given this year, so you would want to go back to a previous year. But right now we're looking at 2012-13 CELDT results, so I'll leave it here, and then I'm going to click on the overall listening, reading, speaking, and writing, and then hit Generate Report. Okay, and for starting off, we get a pretty basic report. You have the student ID number, student name, and then you get the scaled score information. For the CELDT, we really want to look at the performance bands as well. So I'm going to click on this Show Advanced tab right here, and then go over to Score Types, and then click on the proficiency to be included for the overall score in each domain, and then hit Apply. And now you'll see that included with the scaled score is the performance level. Now for the CELDT, this goes from 1 to 5. So it starts off at beginning as a 1, a 2 would be early intermediate, 3 would be intermediate, 4 would be early advanced, and a 5 would be advanced. And that's the same for the overall as well as each subscore. Now, one of the important parts of the CELDT is that it looks at growth from one year to the next. So if we click on this longitudinal tab, we can look at student performance from the previous year as well. Now, if you wanted to, you could include previous performance from each domain. For this report, I'm just going to do the overall, because otherwise your report gets really big and it's a lot of data to look at. So I'm going to click on the overall for 2011-12 and then hit Apply. And you'll see that it added the scaled score increase. So this student went down 6 scaled score points from the previous year, and then it also does that for performance levels. So you could see that this particular student went from a 2 to a 3. So they went from early intermediate to intermediate, and then this student went down a level. So definitely some useful information to have in the report. Now, as a classroom teacher, I probably want to look at my students sorted by their class period. So I'm going to go over here to the disaggregate button and view disaggregated data by class period, and then I hit Apply. And now it groups that information by the period. I also have some options to go over here and add additional data, so I could add the counselor name, whether or not the student's on an IEP, their CELDT level, which in this report you would already have, and then I'll hit Apply. So now if you have all the information that you're looking for, you have three options on how to save this. If you want to print this out and look at it in kind of a clean format, you would choose PDF. If you wanted to export it into an Excel spreadsheet, you could do that. You can also save this report in EADMS so that you can view it later, and that would save all of these settings that you've chosen, and you'd be able to access your report just like you see it right now. So that's pretty much a snapshot of how to view the CELDT data on the report builder. And I'm also going to show you another way to view this data on the special reports. So I'm going to go back to the home page and hover over reports, hover over special reports, and then click on EL reports. And then once again I choose a student grouping that I want to look at, and then I'll click on generate report. So once again we go to reports, special reports, EL reports, choose a student group, and then this screen comes up, and this is a really handy tool to look at movement from one year to the next. You can see this is the base admin date, which would be the score that we're comparing this year's score to. And if you look at this chart over here, this is the one I always use, and it's pretty simple. That tells you these are the students that went up a band, these are the students that stayed the same, and these are the students that slipped back a band. And it does this for the overall reading, writing, and all the subdomains for it. And then if you click on any of these numbers right here, the individual students will pop up. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the number 16, and this is going to show me all the kids that went up a band. And then once again you get that basic information, and then you can use this show advanced button to add additional information to your reports. And then if you go up to select report, there's also some additional reports that you can look at. The CELDT scores by grade, by levels, and movement details. And that pretty much sums up this tutorial. If you have any further questions, please visit the Ed Services assessment page, and you can do that by going to the district website, and then click on Divisions, Ed Services, Assessment and Accountability, and then we have the EADMS tutorials, as well as information for all the standardized assessments, as well as the Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium. Contact information is listed right here, so please give us a call or send us an email if you have any questions.